Welcome back. Now, Abiola Ajimobi administration, that's the government in Oyo State, has recorded some achievements in terms of infrastructure, but in spite of this, most of the indigents believe the state is not doing well in terms of governance, workers' welfare, delay of salary, and other issues confronting the state. Now, some people say, is that not happening in all the states or in many other states? Well, the situation of non-payment of workers' salaries is not peculiar to only Oyo State, as other states in the country are also owing workers' salaries due, as they say, to the economic challenges facing the country. State government workers are not finding things easy because of the delay of payment of salaries. As a result, labor unions in the state recently called on the state government to pay everything owed, or there will be trouble. I didn't say that. Anyway, we're looking at governance in Oyo State. And to help us answer some of these questions, he was saying, is it jam question? Some of these jam questions. We have the Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Toye Arilogun. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here.
Okay.
The one of us who ran away.
Okay.
No, I'm back.
He says he's back, but we don't know. That's part of the questions. Are you back?
No, I'm shuttling in between here and there.
Okay. Let's look at this issue. Workers' welfare and the infrastructural development. Oyo State has been in the news a lot lately. Why is that so? And please don't tell me it's economic recession.
No, I believe that we should start from when money was available. What was the situation? And that's the honest truth, because you have to look at the intention of government when things unfold. Between 2011 and 2015, the workers in Oyo State had a 300% increase in salary.
300?
Yes, you can verify that. 300% increase in salary.
No wonder you can't pay.
100% increase in housing loan, 150% increase in car loans, 142% increase in pensions and all areas paid. As a matter of fact, I remember the pensioners wrote a letter to the governor then saying that he made them millionaire pensioners. But what point am I proving? Right now, the scenario is different. Even though you say we should not talk about economic recession, but the money is not coming the way it used to be. And I think the fundamental question should be, what is government doing about it? Such that, yes, by the time the second term started, things were not particularly okay. But now there's some degree of stability. So we're talking of about 7 months, deficit. Now we're talking about 3 months because we've paid double salaries, 2 months salaries, consecutively for like 3 months, and that has brought it down. I'm happy you also said that it's not only Oyo State, because you'll see that the federal government has provided some soft landing where they give loans, for states to pay salaries. So that's the situation that we have. But more importantly, the Oyo State government has also shut up its internally generated revenue, because what you find out is that once you don't pay salaries, the payee, which is PAYE, accounts for like 50–55% of the taxes that come into government. So once you don't pay salaries, that also dips. Indeed. Okay, so that's what the government is managing right now. And I believe that we're in constant dialogue with labor. I do not believe that there is any trouble, because we meet constantly. We show them the books. They know how it comes. In the first time, really, Oyo State government did not take any loans. But because of the critical nature of where we are, we've been forced, just like most of other states, to benefit from some of these loans that are coming from the federal government. So that's the situation. So right now, we've paid up to February. And I know that March has been approved, and I think this week is going to hit the accounts. Yeah.
Now, what effort is the state doing to generate money internally?
Okay, there's a lot that has been happening. We started from like 800. Now we're talking about 2 billion, 2.2 on a monthly basis. What we've done is to expand the tax net, and we've basically strengthened the law enforcement in terms of internally generated revenue, tax collection. I think from the figures that I have, it's close to about 450 new taxpayers that have come to the Oyo State. that
450,
450,000 new taxpayers, and especially the informal sector. We've gotten an agreement with them where the informal sector, because that they don't keep books, we cannot verify what they earn. We have a flat figure which they pay on a monthly basis, and that is even collected by the association. So that has shot it up a bit. We are not there yet. Our budget is based on 4 billion, but we're doing 2 billion, 2.2, and we expect that with a lot more participation. But you would also find out that something is happening in the state. For you to get the kind of figures that are coming, a lot of investment has to come in, and that's where government has started the industrial park, the free trade zone, and we're doing a lot in agriculture where investing partners are being given land in the state to go into agriculture. The recent one is the Dangote Group, where like 10,000, farmers are going to be employed. They're asking for about 200, hectares of land, and we are giving it to them so that once investment comes in the state, it shows up the internally generated revenue of the state.
Now, we heard tell when Babatunde Fashola was governor in Lagos State of Okada riders actually asking for where tax offices were so that they would go and pay their taxes. Market women were wanting to pay taxes. Does Oyo State have anything going that will make such happen in the state?
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's there, but the reverse in this case, is ours. We started from, do women really have to pay taxes? So we had to do some enlightenment and advocacy to educate them about the reason why they needed to pay taxes. So that's where.
But they didn't believe that women should pay taxes.
Of course, yes. I was part of the team going to markets to discuss with them. But right now we have a consensus. They already have their buy-in. We started from a figure, but now we have, a particular. And the good thing is that they even collect the taxes for us, through the associations. They have the receipts from the from the Bureau of internal revenue, and they collect the taxes and remit to government. We also made a promise that, look, these taxes that you pay, government is going to use it within your locality for specific projects, and they agreed. So then they increased the figure, which they were willing.
Were they the ones that selected the project, or the government?
Oh yes, they would know. They would give us their needs. They would give us their needs. Based on consensus, we deal with the associations and not the individuals, which is easier to manage.
You paint a very beautiful picture of what's happening in your state. Is that really what's on ground?
That's what's on ground. That's what's on ground. Unless you have information to the contrary.
No, I'm asking because you're the Commissioner for Information.
Yeah.
You would definitely not come and tell me that things are south.
No, but I told you we have a budget of 4 billion. We are doing 2.2.
So how do you cover up for the other?
That's why you have the deficit. That's why you have the deficit in terms of payment of salaries and a few other things. But for example, when we got the first Paris Club funds, which was 7.6 billion, the federal government, the president said, look, use between 25 and 50% to pay salaries. We used about 62% to pay salaries because we knew that we had a backlog. And I'm using this to demonstrate the commitment in terms of offsetting all of these salaries. The next one that came in, which is I think 5.03 billion, we used 100% to pay the salaries. As a matter of fact, as we speak, the federal allocation from the federal post that goes into your state, we use 100% of it to pay salaries for workers, and that is less than 2% of the population. So you are using 100% of your income to satisfy less than 2% of the population.
Which is, you still have projects you're working on, projects in the development infrastructure.
For example, the Paris Club Fund, the other 38% we use, for development projects. And the federal government too has been giving loans in terms of infrastructure. So you balance it.
Are we expecting to see unfinished projects by the time this administration?
No, there won't be any unfinished project. There will rather the ones that have been abandoned by successive governments. For example, yesterday we had the flag off of the Ibadan Circular Road, and that is an example of how PPP can work, because it's not as if government is going to put money down. A company is going to finance it, but they will build, operate, and transfer. The facilities will be there for people, and now we have to start educating our people that they got to pay toll because the money is coming from somewhere. Because it is going to have a direct effect on how the roads will be managed.